What's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. My name is David, and today I'll be going into Propstream to show you how you can actually use it in your business to generate seller leads, to find cash buyers, to build specialty lists, and also if you stick through to the end, you will see how you can pull that cash buyers list in a matter of one click in order to get your deal sold. And let's get into it. All right, so now we are in my computer, and you can see right now I have it focusing on Charlotte. So I have it in my local market. So what I want to do is just show you what the dashboard looks like. It really hasn't changed over the years like that. It has got a little bit more of a cleaner look now. But as you can see, you have your MLS tabs, your pre-foreclosure tabs, your auction, bank owned, cash buyers tab. You also have like your saved searches and everything. So, you know, one way that I do figure out who are the LLC buyers with multiple properties in the area, I actually go up here to all searches and I just save like a random city that I was looking for cash buyers in, and as you can see, it's labeled as LLC buyers, but that's just an example of the searches that you can actually save. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use my local market, Charlotte, and I'm going to put in Charlotte NC. So as you can see, we have a ton of properties in Charlotte, North Carolina. And the first thing I want to do, I want to show you how you can use the filters to build different types of lists. So when you go into the filters, after you type in Charlotte, North Carolina, you can go in, and the first thing that you can see here, you have lead lists. So you can choose an auction list. You can choose a failed listing list. Failed listing lists are really, really good if you're in the subject tools, if you're in the seller financing. Those are going to be good most of the time because those sellers have been on the market probably for 100 days or 120 days, and they may have low equity in their property as well too. That's not necessarily guaranteed, but that is a possibility. So you have on-market properties, you have tax delinquent properties, you have vacant lists, which are my favorite for sure. You have free and clear properties, so that means it has 100% equity. You just have a lot of different lists that you can choose from within Propstream if you wanted a quick list to get started in the market in a matter of a couple of minutes. So next, you can see that you have your property details. So let's say you have built a cash buyers list and certain cash buyers say, hey, I'm looking for 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. You can come in and say, I'm looking for anything that's 2 bedrooms. Right? And you know they say, hey, we want 1 baths in there as well too, so we put 1 baths. So it's just ways that you can build specialty lists to cater to your buyers if that's what you wanted to do. Or you can say, I'm just gonna leave all of those blank, and whatever deals come through, then I have certain buyers that's gonna buy certain things, so they have different criteria. They added school districts, so now you can choose school districts, the number of stories. You can have single story, 2-story, 3-story, whatever you're looking for. You can build those type of lists. HOAs, you can include that or exclude that. So if you don't want properties with HOAs, you can do that. And you just have a couple of more different options, such as pools, garages, basements, attics. You just have a lot more options to choose from. Now, if you're enjoying the video, please take a second, hit the like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell, because what that'll do, that'll send signals to YouTube that you are enjoying the content, and they'll push it out to a larger audience, and we can continue to grow here on the channel. Now let's get back into the video. You also have the MLS section as well too. So with the MLS section, you can choose if you wanted to go after properties on market. Normally in our line of work, what we do, we go after properties that is off market, because that's how we normally get those discounts if we find motivated sellers. But like I said before, if you have sellers that have properties that have been sitting on the market for a while, they may come back and say, hey, I want to sell my property off market now because I've given a realtor a chance to get it sold and we're not able to get it sold. And when I say that you can build certain lists like failed listings or properties that's been on the market for more than 100 days, you can go in and say, hey, days on market, you can go and put 100. So at minimum, that particular list, if you pulled this type of list, you're going after someone that should be extremely motivated because their property has sit on the market for a while now. So to move on to the next tab, so you see we have pre-foreclosures and bank-owned properties. So you can go in and put in a recording date. So if you want something that is freshly in the pre-foreclosure stage, you got to put in the correct date for that. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, when it comes to the pre-foreclosures, I haven't really been seeing it being updated a lot in Propstream. So what I do, I actually go to the courthouse, or I pay someone to go up to the courthouse and pull the fresh pre-foreclosures out of a booklet that's in the courthouse. That's gonna be the freshest pre-foreclosure data that you can find, and it's also free. Only thing you have to do is show up and pull the data yourself. Here in Charlotte, North Carolina, or in North Carolina in general, you can even go after properties that's in the upset bid period. The upset bid period is where you have a 10-day window to outbid the current buyer. Those sellers are definitely motivated because their credit is at risk. They can possibly lose their property in 10 days and get nothing from it. Why not step in and help them out? So yeah, you have this pre-foreclosure and bank-owned tab. You could pull this list and see how good it is, but from my experience, that you definitely have some outdated data in there. Owner information. So you have owner occupied, you have vacant. If you're looking for properties that have the owners that's still living in the property, you can click yes. Or if you want non-owner occupied properties, you can click no. And if you want the property to be vacant, you can click yes. So that's building a vacant list. Years of ownership, that's very important too. You don't want to be going after properties that have been owned for probably 1 to 5 years, because 9 times out of 10, that's either someone that's just moving into a house, or it may be a cash buyer that's putting a tenant in place and they're not looking to sell if they just recently bought it. Only time they may be looking to sell within a few months is if they're going in and they're fixing up the property and putting it on the market or something. See here, you also have where you can select the owner type. So you have individual, you have corporate owned, mixed, trust, you have absentee owner location. So if you want owners that are out of state, owners that are out of the county or local, you can choose that. So it's so many different options of how you can build lists with these filters. Last sale price, pre-probate. It may be best to go to the courthouse and grab that data, but if you just want to get into a market quickly and you want to go after certain types of lists, you can actually do that. Intra-family transfers. So I don't know if you really know what that means, but if you have someone that has a property, and then you may go in Propstream and you will see that it's sold for $0 and it says intra-family transfer. That means it was transferred and a family member had taken over the property. You also have liens, bankruptcy, and divorces. So those are definitely motivated sellers that you would want to go after as well too. And to be honest, when you're starting out and let's say you don't have like a lot of money to get started, your best bet is to go after distress lists. So all these lists that I mentioned, like divorce lists, lists with liens, lists with bankruptcy, they may be a little bit more challenging to work through, but these are the lists that you want to go after because it's a small amount that you can handle on your own, and it should be high levels of motivation. You may get a list that may have only 300 people in it, but guess what? In that 300, you may find 1 to 2 people that are extremely motivated to sell. And you can do that right in here inside of Propstream for $99 or $199 if you want the unlimited skip tracing in the platform. So next you have value and equity. This is very important too. If you want to pull a list where you have sellers that have less than 10% equity so you can pitch a subject to deal to them, you want to put here that the max amount of equity is 10%. So then that's a specialty list of sellers that have properties that may want to sell and they don't have any equity in the property. If you in a market and you know that the fixed up houses that just been flipped are selling for $300,000, and those are the type of properties you need to go after because you know cash buyers will be interested in those, you're gonna wanna go here and type in 350,000. Those are the type of properties that your cash buyer is gonna be looking for in that particular area. You don't wanna go out here and start looking for mansions that are $1 million, because most of the time you're looking at a different type of buyer that's going to be buying those properties to flip, if they're even doing that. But yeah, so that's how you can use this section as well too. You can also look in the mortgage info tab because you may have sellers that have 2 mortgages. If you want a certain mortgage recording date, you can do that. So they added definitely a lot of new features inside of Propstream that can make your list very niche down, and it actually will help kind of separate you from wholesalers or other investors that's just pulling the same list just to get into a market. You can really stack your list inside of this filter. You also see that you have the cash buyers, the free and clear, the seller carry back. You have other options as well too that they've added. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna show you how you can pull a quick list. So let's say that you wanna go after a vacant list. So now in Charlotte, North Carolina, we have one filter already added that's gonna show vacant properties. You have 3,646. So all of these properties are currently vacant. But another thing that you're going to want to go ahead and do, you have to do this with every list that you pull. You want to go in and make sure that you select the type of properties that you want to go after. So property classification and residential. You can select single family. You can select condos and townhomes. If you go after mobile homes, you can do that too. You can also select multifamily 2 to 4 because those are great opportunities. You may be able to get a 2 to 4 unit where you can live in one unit and rent out the other 3 if that was something that you wanted to do. Beds and bath, I wouldn't really do anything with that for a vacant property list. The MLS portion is very important. We as wholesalers, we look for off-market property. So I'm going to do off-market. So you can see that brought it down to 2810. So we're not going to do anything with MLS status. We're just going to keep strolling. We're not doing anything in the pre-foreclosure tab. If you wanted to stack vacant with pre-foreclosure, you just creating another level of motivation. That list is gonna be even smaller, but guess what? Those are gonna be very, very motivated sellers within that particular list. So you may only need 100 of those, and you can call them one by one to get in contact with the sellers, and you may get a deal out of that. Next, you can go down to owner information. Of course, if it's vacant, it's gonna be yes anyway, so it's not gonna change anything once you do that because we already have it pre-picked for vacant, but you can change it. Owner occupied, no, just do it to be on the safe side. Years of ownership, like I said, in this situation, you wanna do about 5 years minimum. So that brought the list down to 83. Owner type, I prefer to go after individuals. Absentee owner location, I don't really care about that. Last sale date price, you don't want to do anything with that really either. Liens, bankruptcy, divorce, you can also go in and add that level of motivation. You can stack that with pre-foreclosure and divorce if you wanted to. That's 3 levels of motivation. 3 levels of distress. Value and equity, you can go in and say, hey, I want it to be 100% clear. So that brought it down to 414. If you have a certain estimated value that you want to go after, you can do 350,000. Like I said, it really depends on your market and where you in, because it may be 70,000, 100,000. But I'm just going to say 350,000. So now you can see that you have a list. You have a list of about 272 sellers that may want to sell their property. It's a small list. You don't need a large list to get started. You can take this small list and call these sellers one by one, or you can use the AI tool if you wanted to. But this is just an example of a list that you can pull. So next, once you already have this list, what you can do, you can go select all 272. And then your actions will be saved. Now, of course, I'm not going to save the list, but what you can actually do, you can go and save it. And then once you do that, if you are on the $199 plan with Propstream, you can actually get free skip tracing. I'm still on the $99 plan because I really don't use Propstream skip tracing like that. But if you decide that you want to, definitely feel free to. It's a great option. I remember a while ago, I would pay over $500-600 to skip trace a certain amount of leads per month. So to actually be able to get access to that data for $199 is a great value. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. The data that you'll be getting in your spreadsheet, you have to take the time to clean it. If you don't take the time to clean it, that can cause you to get wrong phone numbers. So it may make sense for you to export it and then import it back into Propstream again after it's clean and then skip trace the data, but you definitely want to clean your data. Now, in today's world with AI, you may be able to go in ChatGPT and say, hey, I have this list of sellers. I need you to go through and make sure that the address that you see has numbers in the front. So as 123 Main Street, if you only see Main Street and there's no numbers, I need you to highlight those rows and let me know which rows need to be corrected. You can do something like that. I remember having to hire VAs to actually clean my list before, and that would take a few days to get done. Now you can probably get it done in a matter of a few seconds by importing it into ChatGPT. So definitely implement AI into your workflow whenever you're dealing with these lists. But like I said, skip tracing is definitely an option within Propstream. And let's say you get your list clean, you do the skip tracing, and then boom, you got a lead and you got it under contract. What you're gonna need flippers. You're gonna need cash buyers. So you can come inside of Propstream, you can lock into a certain zip code if a house is in a certain zip code. But what I would actually do, I would come in, I would type in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I would just click on flippers. In Charlotte, North Carolina, we have 1,184 flippers, as you can see here. So then what I would do, I would go in, look at some properties in the area. As you can see, this one was flipped. I would look through the information, and instead of trying to figure out who the owner of the LLC is, I will reach out directly to the agent. And sometimes you can run into a situation where the phone numbers are not even on Propstream. It's easy to find real estate agents' phone numbers online because it's going to be public, because they want buyers for their houses, they want new sellers, so it's going to be on the internet. I blurred out the person information here, but you would definitely be able to reach out to them and you say, hey, I got a property under contract right now, and tell them I would like for you to send it over to your cash buyers, and you could put your fee on top of the asking price. That is an option that you have when working with realtors. And guess what? After you work with them that first time, you get access to their cash buyers and you getting them in their property. You can collect their information, and now you got certified cash buyers. I also have cash buyers that I went after, outside of Propstream at the courthouses. Whenever I'm looking at the pre-foreclosure information and seeing that these buyers are putting in bids and they're upsetting the bids, those are cash buyers. But within Propstream, you can do that with just one click, to be honest. Another feature that's big inside of Propstream as well is running comps. So let's say that we wanted to run comps on this particular property right here. I do have the address and everything blurred out, but let's say I want to run comps on this property right here, right? First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go in and switch it to public records. So that brought it down to 11. I'm gonna go to 0.25. That brought it down to 3 comps. And I don't really have to go in and change the beds and bath because it's already in that particular range. If I did have to go in, I would change this to 3.4, and I would change this to 2.3. And then the year built, this property was built in 1955. So I would go 10 years down, 10 years up. And then I also will go in and change this to single family because this is a single family property. And then you have these lists of comps. And you also would want to tighten the dates up as well, probably take it out to 3 months, but of course that probably would bring it to 1 comp. But you start real close and then you work your way out if you need more comps. But if you get too far out, it's not going to be as reliable. But as you can see, this is how you run comps. If you are interested in the video on how to run comps, please check out this video here, because it'll show you how you can actually run comps within Propstream. And I gave a couple of examples that can help you get that done. So that's pretty much my detailed tutorial on Propstream. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to leave a comment down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.